Hi guys, we're going to be taking a look at XTZ today. As you know, we did an update on it a few weeks ago and we actually called the top on this, so whoever did take the short, great job on that. It was a very nice move so far. We're actually down 7% just on the day alone. We're at 137 right now. We're going to take a look at the USD charts and also the BTC charts, so whoever wants to have a look at the Bitcoin pairing as well, just wait until the end of the video. We're going to be analyzing both of them. We're going to give targets for both of them and see if we can see a possible bounce here, because we have been going down a lot, and as you know, we're not going to go down in one straight line. So we're going to look at some possible bounce areas and some possible plays that we may have for XTZ in the coming hours and in the coming days. So we're going to go into full screen here, and what we can see right now is we have actually broken this trend line, and this trend line was what we were talking about for a while. As you can see, we actually had, I'll get rid of this lock, so we sort of made a head and shoulders pattern right here and broke this neckline. Either way, doesn't look very good, but we did break it. Now if we go back, we can see a lot of confluence in these areas, so I'm going to point it out for you guys so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Right here, there's a lot of support that used to be resistance as well, so there's a lot of confluence in this area that we're actually approaching right now, and we can actually draw a horizontal resistance and support area here. So this is a very strong area of confluence that we'll be looking for a bounce, that at least a scalp bounce here, for a quick few percent play possibly. So as you can see, we're actually approaching it right now. If we get our pivots up, this is weekly support, and this is very important. As you can see right there, it actually tells us that it's at 1.35, so we are actually approaching it, and this tells us that we may see a very nice bounce off here. We don't see any bullish divergence on the 4-hour time frame, but what we do see is the yellow trying to cross to the upside here, into the bullish control territory, and if this does cross up, it's going to be a very good sign that we are going to go to the upside. Right now the money flow index is increasing a lot here, so we're just going to be looking out for that. This is probably getting a little bit tight, and it may curve around a little bit like this, so just keep that in mind. It could definitely do that here, and keep in mind that we did call a correction at around these areas, and we've come down a lot, and we're basically going to be looking for a scalp. If anything, if you're in the group, we're going to be looking for a scalp. We're not going to be looking for a long play here, because XTZ does have a lot of correction to do, and it's going to be fine if it does correct, and we're going to be looking for this downside, and we're going to be looking for more tradable areas for us. So looking at this, we are coming down, but there's nothing to worry about. XTZ is one of the more constructive looking charts in cryptocurrency. Basically, it's looking very strong in comparison to basically every other chart in cryptocurrency. This and Link in the altcoins are basically some of the best charts that you can see. Now, as you can see, the MACD did cross to the downside, and they are diverging away from each other, but I don't know how much more downside this does have. It's looking very bearish, obviously, on the MACD, and the momentum to the downside is gradually increasing, as you can see here. So you'd want to be seeing it curve around and come to the upside, and you'd also want to start seeing this curve around as well. So that's one thing we're going to be looking out for. We're not going to look at the 4-hour time frame too much, because I want to concentrate on the high time frames. And as you can see here, the Stokes are in the bearish control territory, but they will be getting tied soon, and they may curve back around for this very nice scalp that we're going to have in the group. So looking at the 12-hour time frame, we can see that we're coming up to the support as well. Obviously, the MACD has crossed down and has crossed bearish with the moving averages right here. It has also basically just building momentum to the downside. This is looking very bearish. We thought that we were basically, where it looked like we were diverging down and we were going to come to the upside, but as you can see, the bears did grab it and come to the downside with it. So a correction is definitely in the hands of the bears right now. As we can see here, we're basically looking pretty bearish on the RSI as well. The RSI hasn't been oversold in a very long time, but it does have room to the downside to be oversold right now. We're almost reaching that oversold territory below 30, and we're probably going to get comfortable down here for a while. We haven't been in there for a very long time. Keep that in mind, guys. We can't keep going up in one straight line. And also what you notice here is we've got this clear trend line resistance that we basically keep hitting, and we've hit 3 times, which does make it weaker, and eventually we will break it. But we could be doing something like this. We could basically, as you can see, we've got this, and then we've got this and this. So what we could basically say is that we're building a large head and shoulders pattern right here. and depending on how much this does come down, then let's say it comes down to here and we basically make another shoulder right here, and then we'll have this clear resistance to basically go to the upside from there. It sort of is making that pattern as well, but as you know, we're going to have to wait a little bit, but the charts are looking for a little bit of downside. If we look at the money flow index right now, it is growing, and we did cross down with the yellow, which is not a good sign at all. So if you don't watch our streams, go ahead and watch those as well, because we do daily analysis on these alts and also Bitcoin as well, and we talk about some very good stuff. I explain all these indicators. If you guys are basically new to technical analysis, I'm not going to sit here and talk basically bullshit about like all these other YouTubers do. We actually look at the charts and we look for tradable chart pattern ideas like we did here with this short, or basically take your profits on your longs, because as you can see, we're actually coming down. Since we made that video, we've come down 24%. So good job on those that did believe in us, that did have a look. For one thing that I can show you guys, if you look on the 12-hour time frame right here on the RSI, we were basically building momentum to the upside, absolutely huge right here. We're in overbought territory at 85, and we do come back down, and look at where that is on the price action. So right here, we're down here on the price action, and the momentum to the upside on the RSI is huge right here, right? And then we start trending upwards. So we were basically having this, we had another wave up, and as we have had this wave up, when we look at our oscillators basically and our indicators, we can see that the momentum on the RSI is actually dying down. So this was a big giveaway that we were going to come crashing down, and we were going to come crashing down hard, and this was definitely coming up to its last wave. It was like a 1, 2, 3. It was basically, it was going to come down, and we have talked about the wave structure in the last video, so go ahead and check that out if you haven't already. So this was a no-brainer short, and some very, very nice gains, especially on leverage. Even if you were doing 2 times, then would have been some very, very nice gains. So, and even if you took profits on your longs, you didn't have to be shorting the market. So looking at the 1 day time frame, we're going to get the moving averages on quickly. I know I have talked about them in the last video, so I'm not going to talk about them too much. I just wanted to show you guys that we did lose the orange 21 exponential moving average, which is a bad sign. We lost the 10 moving average, which is a red as well. So as soon as we lost that 21 moving average, we did come down a lot. The bulls did try to grab us on this candle right here. They did try to bring us up, but they just couldn't, and we came back down. So we're actually about to get a cross here as well. So or we were about to get a cross here, and we may still get this cross, so that's going to be pretty bad. We're actually losing the this white right here, so we're losing the 50. It should be the 55 though. I'm going to put the 55 back on there. Yeah, so 55 right here, we haven't actually lost it. We have lost the 50, but the 55 exponential moving average, we're actually finding support on it right now. So as I said in the start of the video, we will be looking for a bounce, but looking at this, it's looking like a correction to me, and there will be more downside, but we will pick this long scalp up for sure, and it will be a pretty decent scalp here. So looking at the Bitcoin pairing, jumping right into it, we're going to look at the 4-hour time frame quickly. Looking at the 4-hour time frame, what can you see? You can see the money flow index going into the red and actually diverging very hard from the upside. So it's just growing and growing into the red, which means the bears are in control. We are trying to cross up here as well, so if we do get this cross up, very, very good, and we will see a little bounce on the Bitcoin pairing as well. So looking at this, we have lost this support, which is not very good. This is a weekly support, but on the Bitcoin pairing, not a good sign at all. If we do come back up, we're probably going to retest it and come back down. It is looking bearish because we just got this bearish MACD cross on the moving averages. We're also building momentum to the downside on the MACD here. So looking at this, we're definitely building momentum to the downside, and this could end up being a very, very long, or at least for a few days, we're going to be correcting here. The next area of support for me that I'm going to be interested in for a bounce play is going to be this area at 1761. So I'm going to be watching that very, very closely. Looking at the moving averages, we actually lost the 200 moving average, which is the yellow, on the 4-hour time frame. We also lost the 200 exponential moving average, which is the purple, sorry. So that's not a very good sign. When you do lose that, you could basically pick up an aggressive short on on many coins, like when you lose the 200 moving average, it's a very important moving average. And as you can see, we actually came and retested it and got rejected straight away. So even if you missed that actual breakdown, then you would have waited for the retest of the yellow 200 moving average, and you would have bought that. So good job on those guys that did. This is the stuff we always talk about in the group. This is just stuff that you're going to be looking for slowly and slowly, and you learn more and more, and you can end up actually having more winners than losers, which a lot of people don't in this market. So looking at the 12-hour time frame, what we can notice is we are basically looking, so we're on Binance, we're going to go on this chart, so we've got some more history for XTZ. Now what we can see on XTZ right now, we're going to quickly talk about the moving averages, then we'll get rid of it so you guys can see easier. We have lost the support, obviously we talked about that. The RSI is getting comfortable and coming to the bearish controlled territory, and we could stay here for a very long time. We could stay oversold for a very long time. The more important thing is that we are coming into the bearish controlled territory, and if we don't get a bounce from this support area right now, then we're definitely going to lose this and come down to these areas. Something to keep in mind, we have got this bearish MACD cross as well with the moving averages. We also have momentum to downside building once again, very, very hard on the high time frames, which is not a good thing to see. We've got huge ticks in the red here. Something to keep in mind, we have lost the, let's see, yeah, we're coming up to the 89 exponential moving average, which is the light blue here, so we could definitely bounce off here. But if we do lose this, then I'm going to be looking for 17887 on Bitfinex. That's going to be a relevant support area right here, very good support area. So looking at this, looking the same as the chart pattern, we could be making this. We basically got this, and then we could be making a cup and handle. We could also be making a head and shoulders as well, a bigger head and shoulders, which would be shoulder. Get rid of everything so I don't confuse you guys. So it could be the shoulder, head, and then we'll make another shoulder on this right side. Now we don't know how much this is going to come down, if this is going to be the chart pattern that plays out, but we're just going to have to take it step by step, just like we did up here. And you see the same thing with the momentum here. You're basically on the price action, you're way lower here, but on the RSI, even when you come to the higher price on the price action, then you're still losing momentum. So same deal as I showed you guys. We won't get into it, I won't waste your time because we already showed you that. It's coming to the downside, and as you can see, the RSI has just been downtrending since we made that last video. So this was a no-brainer short as well, depending on which pairing you short, or to take your profits. Unless you're staking XTZ and unless you want to hold it, there's nothing wrong with that at all. Looking at the 4-hour time frame, something I did skip was that we had bearish divergence here. So this is another thing that you guys want to be looking for. You want to be looking for divergences. We had bearish divergence from this peak to this peak, which did make us come down a little bit here. So confirmed on this candle right here, confirmed on this candle right here. On this move down, we confirmed it, and we've come down quite a bit from then. We've come down about 7% from then, a little bit more actually. So nice move right there. We've lost the support. We may come back and retest it, like I said, but definitely looking like more down. Looking at the 1-day time frame. Looking at the 1-day time frame, we have got this bearish MACD cross off the moving averages. We've got bearish momentum building on the 1-day time frame, which is very bad. We lost the 21 exponential moving average. We've lost the 10 moving average, like we talked about last video. We're coming up to the 55 EMA. This pivot area is going to be very important for me. I'm going to get rid of this quickly, so you guys, I'm going to get rid of the moving averages. I'm going to be looking for continuation down to this area if we do break the 55 EMA, and this area will have a very nice bounce. So keep this in mind. At 15,421, we are going to see a very nice bounce if we see continuation down there. And now I know that may scare some people, but this is a very, very strong pivot area. If Bitcoin does start dumping, if we keep getting this correction like we are right now, then we're definitely going to see this downside. Now, pulling a Fibonacci, which I do want to talk about here, some possible targets from a Fibonacci. If we get the low off down here, if we get this low, to this high that we made, we can see that we're actually right on the 0.382. So this is a healthy retracement. For many coins, usually you see, for any asset, you see them retrace to the 0.382 before actually trending up. So trending up is not out of the question right now. It's not like we're looking very, very bearish, but the RSI is still looking good. We could get this bounce off here. So like I said on the USD pairing as well, we're going to be looking for a long scalp, and this just proves the point. So on the 0.382, you're most likely going to get some buyers to come in here and push it up at least a little bit. And if we do break this 0.382 territory, whether it's today or tomorrow, we're going to be seeing continuation to the 0.5. Now, if we do break that, then there's nothing to worry about. We're going to be seeing the 0.618 and the 0.65, which is referred to as the golden pocket and the golden Fibonacci territory. So we're going to be looking for this area as well. That is going to be the worst case scenario. But as I said, we're building this sort of head and shoulders pattern. So it could just be going like this, head, and then we're not going to know how much this is going to come down, but it's going to build this, and then we're going to be going to the upside. So that's going to be good. I'm going to love seeing this play out. We've also got the resistance here as well on the USD. So as you can see, 1, 2, 3 touches, clear resistance. I'm actually getting comfortable here looking at the 3-day, because I do like looking at the 3-day. It's very important to me. We don't really have much data here. Yeah, so we're actually going to get this bearish cross. Let's see on the 2-day time frame if we are going to get this cross. We have already got the bearish cross on the 2-day time frame, so that's something to keep in mind. This is definitely going to be a continuation to the downside because of this cross, unless we get a cross back up right away. But yeah, but that's not looking good. Not looking good at all. Not looking good at all. We're actually about to lose a 21 exponential moving average as well. So just keep that stuff in mind, guys. This is looking like a very good chart. XTZ is a very, very good looking chart in the crypto land, but we're going to be looking at more downside, and we're going to be looking to buy lower. It's just going to be an opportunity to buy lower. So pulling a fib on this as well. I'm going to be looking at, I'm going to get rid of everything. So I'm going to give you guys some targets like we did for the BTC pairing right now. So looking at this, we're going to get this low. We could do it from the entire low, but firstly looking at this, we've lost the 0.382. If we do from here to the high that we made from the initial run up that we've had, we're coming up to the 0.5, which is going to be at 1.28. We're definitely going to get a bounce there, but if we do lose it, I'm going to be looking for continuation to the 0.618 as well. So they are my targets for the second. We're going to be playing the bounce in the group, so if you aren't in my group, go ahead and add me on Discord. If you want to follow the videos and follow the streams, there's still a lot of good free content there as well that you guys will learn a lot from. So go ahead and add us on Discord, follow us on YouTube, give the video a like, and I do appreciate you guys tuning in, and I hope you had a very, very nice holiday, and I'll catch you guys in tomorrow's stream.